Hello everyone. In the last lecture, we saw a few properties of equivalence classes. I would like to discuss some more properties and then move on to a very specific example which is going to be used very often in group theory. So let's continue with the properties. For if R is an equivalence relation on A, there are already some properties which we have discussed in the earlier lecture. The first property was every element belongs to its own equivalence class, and that can be proved by using the fact that the relation is reflexive, and then an element will belong to the equivalence class of some other element if and only if their equivalence classes are the same. Now let's come to the third property. Compare the equivalence class of 1 with 2. They are identical. 1 with 3, nothing in common. 1 with 4, everything in common. 1 with 5, nothing in common. 1 with 6, nothing in common. So for equivalence classes, at least from this example, it looks like when I take two equivalence classes, you can also check for the other pairs. But if we take two equivalence classes, it looks like either they are going to have everything in common or nothing in common. What really happens for when you look at two sets in terms of their intersection? Well, actually there are three scenarios where we talk about general sets. One scenario is where the two sets are disjoint. They have nothing in common. Another is where they have everything in common. But there's also a third possibility where they have a partial intersection. What we are saying is that for equivalence classes, this third possibility simply does not arise. And that also is very clear because they are like families. If there is an intersection, then this family would be the same as this. So either two equivalence classes will have nothing in common or everything in common. That is my third property which I am going to state here. Any two equivalence classes are either disjoint or identical. Finally, what I want you all to do is look at the distinct equivalence classes in this example, the ones which are different. 1 bar is different, 2 bar is the same as 1 bar, so drop 2 bar. 3 bar is different, take the equivalence class of 3, and 5 bar is different. So if I take all distinct equivalence classes and I take their union, check it out, pause the video, check it out what happens to the union of these three. You'll notice that it is equal to, remember, order of the elements in a set is not important, so ultimately this is what you'll get. So at least from the example it looks obvious that if I take the union of distinct equivalence classes, I'm going to get my entire set, and that I will state as property 4. So union of all distinct equivalence classes will always give us the whole set. Now for this theorem, I usually like to mark 5 stars because properties of equivalence classes are used fairly often. So you must be familiar with these properties. This is actually the preliminaries chapter, and I hope that you all go through the preliminaries chapter at least once, all the lectures. But even at some stage, if you happen to forget, this is the advantage of an online video series. Whenever you have some doubt, you can also always get back to that video and watch it again. So you can mark this video and keep for properties of equivalence classes. So whenever you have a doubt regarding properties of equivalence classes, you can get back to this video and familiarize yourselves with the properties once again. So this is as far as equivalence classes and properties are concerned. Now I would like to discuss equivalence classes for a very specific relation, and we have discussed that relation earlier. Recall that in an earlier lecture I gave you all precisely one example of an equivalence relation. I mentioned at that time that it is going to be a very important example for us. So let's go back to that example. The example that I am talking about is congruence modulo n. So because I am working with we have proved the result for a general value of n, and now I want to look at a specific example. So I'll take a specific value for n. So let me take n equal to 4 and let R be a relation defined on Z by A related to B if and only if A is congruent to B modulo 4 specifically. Now I have already proved that for a general value of n, R is an equivalence relation. So naturally it will also be an equivalence relation when n is equal to 4. Now I would like to find out the equivalence classes of elements in Z. However, notice that in Z, I have dot this side, I have dot that side. The earlier example of equivalence class which I took was a finite set, and the aim was to find out equivalence class of every element in the set. Now for that, because it was a finite set, I could actually find out the equivalence class of each and every element. Now if you look at this set, this is an infinite set. So I actually have two problems. If I am interested in finding out the equivalence class of every element in this set, firstly, where do I begin? There is dot here, and where do I end the story? There is dot here. So question is where to begin and where to end, and how am I going to cover all my elements? So since it really doesn't matter, it's a vast ocean, just start arbitrarily with some element. This is a convenient point to begin with, and then we will move in this direction and see what happens. So let us start with the equivalence class of 0. Then we will find the equivalence class of 1, equivalence class of 2, and so on. So let's begin with the equivalence class of 0. Remember, it contains all elements which are related to 0. That's the definition of an equivalence class. Equivalence class of 0 will contain all the elements from the set which are specifically related to this element. So let's simplify that further. This will contain all the elements, and keep in mind what is the relation. A is related to B if and only if A is congruent to B modulo 4. So X related to 0 means X will be congruent to 0 mod 4. X, I need to find out which are the integers which satisfy this condition. Let me simplify some more. So this will mean, use the definition of congruence modulo. Number inside the bracket should divide left hand side minus the right hand side. Now X minus 0 is precisely X. So 4 should divide X. Now let's list all the integers. So I need to find out which are the integers that are divisible by 4. I'll list a few of them. I have minus 12, minus 8, minus 4, 0, 4, 8, 12, and so on. So this is the equivalence class of 0. Next, try and find out what is the equivalence class of 1 by using exactly the same technique. So pause your video and find out the equivalence class of 1. So if you are done, you can now check your calculations. Since I am finding equivalence class of 1, the set under consideration is the set of integers. So I take all the elements from that set which will this time be related to 1. And therefore, I look at all integers where x is congruent to 1 modulo 4. Let me simplify this. So number inside the bracket should divide left hand side minus the right hand side. So now 4 should divide that number minus 1. One such number is 5. 5 minus 1 is divisible by 4. Another such number is 9. 9 minus 1 is 8, which is divisible by 4. So if I were to list all such elements, I will get minus 11, minus 7, minus 3, 1, 5, 9, 13. You can check. In fact, pause your video, also find out what is the equivalence class of 2, what is the equivalence class of 3. Instead of going through all the details, what I would like to do is see if there is some kind of a pattern which will tell me what is the equivalence class of 2. Notice that if I add 1 to every element in this set, I'll get the elements of this set. Minus 12 plus 1 is minus 11, minus 8 plus 1 is minus 7, minus 4 plus 1 is minus 3, 0 plus 1 is 1, 4 plus 1 is 5, and so on. So actually if I continue with this pattern, it will be very easy for me to write down the elements of 2 bar. Of course, you can always check by using this method. So if I add 1 to every element of this set, I should get the elements of 2 bar. So I'll get minus 10, minus 6, minus 2, 2, 6, 10, 14, and so on. And likewise, if you look at 3 bar, you are going to get minus 9, minus 5, minus 1, 3, 7, 11, 15, and so on. Let us also quickly calculate 4 bar. By the same pattern, 4 bar will be minus 8, minus 4, 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, and so on. 5 bar will be equal to minus 7, minus 3, 1, 5, 9, 13, 17, and so on. You can continue with 1 or 2 more elements, but we will discuss our observations regarding these equivalence classes in the next lecture. That's all for now. Thank you.